It got to a point where I kind of started thinking someone was following me, and it was right down the rabbit hole after that. It was a racing thought process, and honestly, it was just mainly fear.
That was kind of the start of my mental illness when I turned 16. Really dark thoughts started emerging on that day. And because I was manic, my brain took it to a whole nother level. So it exaggerated it. It made me think, oh yeah, this is the end. And if you don't do something about it tomorrow, it's gonna be all over. Ever since that day, even up to this point right now, there's delusions all the time.
Schizophrenia is a really, it's hard to explain, but it's really lonely, right? You kind of feel like you're the only person on earth, or that you're an angel, or that, you know, who knows what. When I first had psychosis, I was having sleep paralysis, and so that was, I'd wake up from a dream and I'd be laying in my bed paralyzed, and there'd be like these shadowy, demon-y things. I thought, like, I don't know how to deal with this, so I started drawing it. It's kind of like dreamscapes, kind of, in a way. Like, it's not realistic, but it's in a way symbolic of darker stuff.
Yeah, I just got suicidal, and my sister needed to take me to the hospital because I was just freaking out. I had a doctor come into the room, and he's like, if you have the choice, if there was just a button sitting there, if you press the button you wouldn't exist anymore, what would you do? I would press the button, and that's what I said, and then after that I got admitted.
There's a lot of fear. Truth is, no matter how much we talk about it or discuss it, I can never tell the difference between what's real and what isn't. So I started using drugs, kind of self-medicating, and I ended up getting addicted to heroin. So I was doing that for a while and still totally out of my mind. Eventually I went to rehab.
So my doctor, the psychiatrist in Vancouver, suggested that I go to the Early Psychosis Intervention Program in Abbotsford. The EPI Program is a safe place to go where there's so much help and care and understanding. I really don't know where I would be if I didn't have that. The first day I went there, Lark came up to me and I was crying. I couldn't stop crying. She came up and she just put her arm around me, and that was the first time that I'd met her. And it just felt just that tiny, tiny, tiny bit better, like just that smidge. And that's kind of where the process started.
I felt right in, you know, it was good to see other people going through similar things.
And I recommend EPI because there's good people there. You get to meet people that understand you, that aren't going to judge you. Got into there, started talking to a doctor, started getting on different medications. It basically told me that I'm not alone.
You have your psychiatric nurse who you go and see, and that's like your counseling visits, but she can also be aware if there's something going on with your medication that's helpful. There is family counseling, which is also extremely helpful. That's another pillar, I believe, which is really important. You meet people that have been in the exact same shoes. They get it.
I would say I'm near the end of my recovery, ready to go on and take the world. My mind, at least, it always likes to have racing thoughts. So when I go up to that level with biking, that like speed and enjoyment and exploration, it kind of, I just carry my brain along, and it's like this big old distraction that just keeps me occupied in my head. So I love biking for that reason.
And it's nice to have friends that are in the same kind of situation, because you don't have to worry about like, oh, what's this guy thinking about? You know, is he judging me or whatever? Finally being on a good medication that works with me has been good. Gives you a bit of hope.
They taught me how to kind of take the illness, give it a big hug and embrace it, instead of being afraid of it and letting it completely control and take over my life. It was so many tools that are so important that I use every day. When I planted that garden the other night, just having my hands in nice fresh dirt and just planting everything and putting it into the ground and knowing that I'm going to be able to eat everything afterwards, and it brings me into what's going on around me and not so much what's going on in me or in my head or whatever the case is. The program gave me hope that I didn't have before I got sick, and my life is just rich now. Like I'm so fortunate because life is just really rich, and it just wasn't like that before for me, and I'm very, very thankful for everything the program gave me.